All right, so in this video, I'm going to be giving an update, go over some of the construction photos of the new NBA arena, probably the biggest arena slash stadium opening in 2024. It is the Intuit Dome, and the LA Clippers finally getting their own home rather than playing second fiddle and sharing Crypto.com arena with the Lakers. We're just going to go through some of the recent construction happenings, and one of the things you can see just looking at some of these exterior renderings of the Intuit Dome, that those red beams, they almost look to be, completely open. Like there's just going to be a bunch of natural light shining down onto the concourse. Very interesting right there. But just going through some of the photos, the first thing, yeah, so this is a major emphasis here. This massive ring scoreboard, it's double sided, going around the top of the Intuit Dome, and they're right now in the process of constructing it, and it looks massive, and people are actually complaining, saying, people in the upper deck, that's going to be very distracting. Look at the perspective of that. If you're in the upper deck right there, the scoreboard is bigger and closer to you, way closer to you than the court. So it's just a weird perspective, and it's a different thing they're doing. I mean, sure, other teams have done the ring scoreboard. I've seen it, at SoFi Stadium, but SoFi Stadium, it's way far away. It's a football stadium. It's so much just bigger of a facility. How's it going to work in an arena? It just looks massive in comparison to the actual court, looking down at it, and then you see this huge jumbotron going all the way around. But you can see the first thing that I notice about the Intuit Dome, well, obviously, if you look on the right side, the massive wall of seats, it's literally called the wall. And I do think that's something that's very unique. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But just in general, the lower bowl is a behemoth going all the way around. It's almost like there's not even an upper deck to it. Like the second deck doesn't really even feel like an upper deck. And the scoreboard is just so large. Like you can't even see the top of the upper deck because the scoreboard is blocking it out in a lot of these renderings. And there is the massive wall, the uninterrupted row of seats. They kind of stole that from Maryland basketball. I mean, Maryland basketball has a crazy vertical wall going up behind one of their baskets, but that's a unique thing. And that's not even a rendering. That is what it currently looks like right now. It is almost done at this point, which isn't surprising considering it's opening in about 7 months. You can see all the solar panels. Believe there's around 274 solar panels up there. Not surprising. This is located in Inglewood, California, also the home to SoFi Stadium. And then here's the perspective of it as it's getting built. You can see how big the ring scoreboard is going to be. And in comparison, if you're standing, I believe that's at the way tippy top of the wall section. So it's not even in the upper deck technically. It's just a massive continuous row of seats, which is what the wall is. It's supposed to be intimidating to the opposing team. There's stipulations. You can only wear Clippers jerseys. And if you're going to sell your ticket, you can't sell it on a secondary. It's pretty crazy what they're trying to do with the home court advantage. But yeah, the thing that everyone's been talking about is just how big that ring scoreboard is. And you can barely even see the other hoop. It's like the scoreboard is almost cutting off. I don't know, maybe this is a perspective where the person is standing up on the last row. So maybe that's why it's kind of like that. But yeah, here it is. The LA Clippers have released the rules for the wall, the Intuit Dome's new section of 51 uninterrupted rows of fans. Cannot cheer for the opposing team. I mean, how do you enforce that? Cannot wear opponent gear. Tickets can only be resold in Clippers Marketplace. And a season on the wall ranges from 5,000 to 25K. And it is a unique aspect of it. The Intuit Dome, the future home of the LA Clippers, will feature an acre-sized halo board, the largest double-sided scoreboard in an arena. Well, yeah, we can tell it's the largest. I mean, it's massive. The perspective of it is crazy. And then how about this? This was just 3 days ago. The LA Clippers and the NBA already wanting to show off its new toy, show off its brand new arena. They're hosting the 2026 All-Star Game. I'm surprised they're not doing it in 2025, but I would imagine there's already another host city or host arena for 2025, but they are getting it in 2026, so just 1 year after it opens. And then these are just more photos of them starting to put the seats into the arena. I mean, from the exterior at this point, it looks almost done. I wonder if those, little panels light up. That would be really cool if they lit up at least like white or chrome or some type of color, but I don't know if they actually do. There's a nice little rendering of it. Looks like there's another added area onto the side of it. or maybe that's like a parking garage or something. That's part of it. There you can see the wall. Supposed to be an imposing environment. It's a unique aspect for an arena. I can understand it. The one very interesting thing about the Intuit Dome, when you look at the interior, there is no natural light, which is something that I really want arenas to focus on more of. There's been multiple NBA arenas that are going through renovations to where they're putting in more natural light to the arena, but the Intuit Dome, honestly, probably because of the massive ring scoreboard. I mean, where are you going to fit in the natural light? It's like such an intimate arena, in comparison, and that scoreboard just feels like it makes everything cramped. I'm not saying it's a bad arena or anything like that, but it is certainly different. It's a different style, and there you can see the Intuit Dome right there. And there's just a little comparison of the rendering versus what the construction currently is in the timeline. And there's just more construction photos I was able to find throughout the building of the Intuit Dome. So again, it is opening the start of the 2024-2025 season. So this fall of 2024 is when it will be opening. That is the Intuit Dome. And then I wanted to also touch on the Oklahoma City situation, which is very, at this point, I would say strange, because this is basically approved, but there's no renderings on it, which is one of the things normally they want to give you the renderings, dangle them in front of you, and then say, hey, pass this so we can actually build it, pay some tax, pay some public tax so we can get this thing built. But I have not seen a single rendering on the new Oklahoma City Thunder arena. Where will it be located? This was an interesting thing that I saw. Once the arena is built, the city manager said that the Paycom Center, which is where the Thunder currently play, will likely be no more. And the Paycom Center is not very old at all, but I've gone over the issues with it. They built it before they even got the Thunder back in 2001. They didn't get the Thunder until 7 years later, and the Paycom Center has a very limited number of suites. There was the thought maybe if they couldn't get a new arena, they would possibly leave Oklahoma City, although that's kind of ridiculous. Oklahoma City just got a team, it feels like, with the Thunder, but they will be staying there until at least 2050. Not surprising with the new arena planned to be opening by 2029, but we're still waiting for renderings on that, the Paycom Center. It's not very impressive. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a bottom-tier NBA arena. I don't think it's the worst arena in the world, but mainly that's a suite problem. They don't have a lot of exclusive suites, and that's a big issue for the ownership there, so they're trying to get their new arena. And it looks like they are getting their new arena. I think the next team to watch is the San Antonio Spurs when it comes to a potential new arena based on recent dialogue. Also, maybe the Dallas Mavericks, but the Spurs, in looking at their arena, formerly the AT&T Center, they changed the name of it recently again, but it needs some serious work. And I would say they just need a new arena. And there was a rumor that after they got Victor Wembanyama, they might be trying to move to a different area in and around San Antonio, so we'll see if that ends up happening. But right now, the only arena that is coming is the Intuit Dome. There is not even another arena that's under construction at this point. It is just the Intuit Dome in 2024, and you also have the 76ers in their project, but that's not supposed to be completed until 2031. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.